Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of It's a Darmar. My name is Darko Markovic, also known as Darmar. Before I continue, please hit the subscribe or follow button because it would mean the world for me. So today's subject that we are going to talk about is how do I design inside 4D4 toys and 3D print them? I know all of you want to see this and I've been getting some messages about that, so I decided to make a video and these bad boys can see the day of light. If you don't know what Inside 4D4 project is, it's my lifetime project and it's a book. In this book I designed everything, from the story to science fiction world that is described with beautiful images, and it has 404 pages. It should be soon coming out and there will be also toys. I hope you will hit the subscribe button and follow so you know when it comes out. So you decided to 3D print your designs, but you don't know where to go. Let's start from the simple stuff. I own a printer that is named Creality Ender 5. It is a pretty cheap printer that you can get for only $350. For that price, you get a 3D printer that prints in PLA, ABS, but I'm using PLA, so we will be talking about PLA mostly. It is a printer from Creality Ender that you assemble by yourself. So this was printed with Creality Ender 5. And why Creality Ender 5 is better than Creality Ender 3, if you ask me, it's because it has auto-leveling bed and it has one more axis while it is printing. This printer prints in a manner where it prints layer by layer by putting PLA down on a heated bed, and then as it goes, it's creating the model. So if you want to think about it, it's the same like taking the model and putting layers of paper and cutting it, and that's how the printer is working. To print a toy, something like this, like from inside of 4D4, you need a design done in 3D. Which software? Well, I used 3 softwares and I tested all 3 of them, how they work. 1 is Fusion 360, 2 is Blender, and 3 is Zbrush. All of these softwares have advantages and disadvantages that we will be talking in this video. So let's talk about advantages and disadvantages of each software. First on this list we have Fusion 360. Fusion 360 is a CAD software. And when you have a CAD software, the geometry is optimized much easier and better, and it looks much better than when it's printed. So immediately when you're designing modeling in CAD software, you need to be careful of topology because it does it for you. This has some restrictions in design, but when I 3D printed the objects or rendered them, doesn't matter, they were super clean because geometry was done good. But the problem that I got for this, even though the geometry was insane quality, it was that the printer, when it printed, sometimes the surfaces would be too thin on it. And this needed a bit playing because I had to play. Second thing is that you have to be very careful when you are separating parts. These parts can sometimes cause mess because many of these models need to be printed in a couple of them so you can assemble them later. And with Fusion 360, that thickness can sometimes create problems because it can be too thin and the printer doesn't print it good. Second on the list is Blender. All that is said for Fusion 360 is the same for Blender, except it's a polygonal tool and Blender is free. If you don't know that, go check on the website. It's $0, which makes it great. However, this is not CAD topology, it's still polygons, so sometimes the topology doesn't look good as a CAD one and printed. But the principle is the same. All the things that I mentioned for Fusion 360 stay with the Blender. And third software that we have that I used was Zbrush. What was good about Zbrush? Zbrush had a Dynamesh option and close holes, which meant that the model could be closed completely. And I didn't have problems with thickness because what couldn't be closed, he couldn't print, and I immediately knew that. And that was a great thing and advantage about Zbrush. However, to polish surfaces in Zbrush, it takes quite a lot of time. And this can be quite draining also because when you're designing, it can be free and loose, but when it comes to cleaning the topology and arranging everything, it can take much more time than you expect. Sometimes it took me more than it took me to design the whole thing in Zbrush. You use the brushes like H-Polish, Trim Dynamic, and so on, and it can take long times. But results are great, as you can see. So when we have designed the whole model and everything in some of these 3 softwares, I don't know which you will choose, whichever works best for you, then the next step is to prepare it in a Simplified 3D. So what is Simplified 3D? It's software that is for 3D printing. You import your geometry in there. When you import it, you will see it in the 3D view, and now you can optimize with the profile how it's going to be printed. This software for me was the best. I used Cura a little bit. Cura was great and it was free. But since I bought Simplified, algorithms were much better and it was easier to optimize and print everything and to get much smoother surfaces in much shorter time because of their algorithm. Also, when you're printing, you need to be very careful with support. Support is the thing that's supporting the object that levitates in the air. To put it simple, the object has pieces that are outside of its bounding box that is touching the floor. So when it's printing layer by layer, if it's too far away, it will fall off. So the software needs to make these supports by your optimization and their algorithm, so it will keep the sculpture standing when it's being printed, so it doesn't fall off or prints in air. When it prints in air, trust me, it's a huge mess. Once we are done with Simplified 3D, we have everything optimized, it's time to print the files on your Ender Creality. Ender Creality has given me some great designs. And I'm very happy with it, with the quality that it provided for this low cost. However, you have resin printers that provide much higher quality, but they are not PLA, that we'll be talking in next videos. For example, this was done with resin. I partnered with Ownage so we can create toys for my book Inside 44. It's one of the cars from the book 3D Printed, and it will be able to be bought as a toy once the book comes out. So be aware when the book comes out and hit the subscribe button for also you know. My name is Darko Markovic, also known as Darmar, and I truly hope you liked this video. I hope you will hit the follow button so you know when this bad boy comes out and Inside 44 is ready. Have a great day.